Sharon Henderson is Senior Vice President at Prosperity Works in Albuquerque. She is an active consultant to community development financial institutions and consults nationally on community-based asset development strategies. Prosperity Works seeks to end poverty in New Mexico through the development of community-based assets.
Yay! Hi, good afternoon. So I'm going to give you just a smidgen of cheerleading. As you heard, Prosperity Works does seek to end poverty. We are a statewide not-for-profit organization, and a significant, at least 80% of our work is conducted by working through other community-based organizations. So we design and test products and services that will give low-income households and low-income communities the opportunity to hopefully move their way out of poverty, as long as several barriers can be eliminated. We do believe people are whole and complete in and of themselves, and they do have the knowledge and skill set to be able to solve their own problems, again, if we allow them to. So many of our policies, public policies, are either designed intentionally or unintentionally, I won't comment on that, to keep people in a state of poverty. And so a second part of our work is a high level of community advocacy and education at the legislative level to change policy or implement new policy that might give people opportunities. I think we have a mindset in New Mexico that we are, again, we know that statistically we always end up on the bottom of a whole bunch of lists. My cheerleading for you is that I just learned 2 days ago from our national evaluator that was appointed by the White House that New Mexico is the #1 program in individual development accounts. That's under 600 and some grantees. They look at us because of our results. They look at us because we have 90% people that are able to achieve a savings goal, a financial education plan, and open a business, buy a home, or go on to education. We've created well over 600 businesses that have created almost 1,400 jobs. And how many of you guys in the audience are small business owners? One of the most exciting things to me about owning a business is that you hire people that you know. So what happens in Truth or Consequences when 6, 7, 8 businesses have been started with a tiny little amount of $5,000 and low-income people have been able to start them? I've stood at the main street in Truth or Consequences, and I've seen a resulting 13 businesses that have started from low-income families, hiring people they know and expanding their business. I wanted to say that this isn't all about Prosperity Works. This is because New Mexicans are strong people. It's because New Mexicans know how to grab resources and use them. And I believe that we have a #1 state in 1,000 different ways. I'm going to keep cheerleading on changing our mentality. Another thing that our organization has started in the last 3 years is a pilot children's savings account program. So we're in the top 5 on that. Yay, New Mexico. We're being looked at as a way to, again, change the behavioral economics around the culture of poverty. I want to move away from talking about the mindset of poverty. That's another way to place blame on the people that have limited income. It's a culture that we've created in this state. It's a culture we can end in this state. It's a culture that can be strongly supported by a community bank. You knew I would get there. A public bank, excuse me, a public bank. So one of the name of our panel here is looking at community needs and how a public bank can assist that. You've heard about being able to get the money out the door through community development financial institutions. There are millions and millions and millions of federal dollars that will not go away, no matter who's running our country, that are available to community-based economic development as long as, what? The community can come up with its own money to leverage the federal money. It's very difficult to do. We have community development financial institutions in our state that could easily bring in $2 million and get it loaned out for these businesses that could make it or break it with $1,000, as long as they had money available to them to leverage the financial dollars. It can happen overnight. And New Mexico does bring in some federal dollars that way, and we do make loans, and we are great, but we could be bringing in at least 10 to 15 times more than we do if there were dollars available. I like to look at the what if. So ways that I see public banking being able to help the communities I serve. Somebody mentioned credit cards earlier. So what if there were public dollars available to be the guarantor on credit cards that were specifically designed to be friendly for lower income families? If you can bring your credit score up 100 points, no matter where you are in the scale, every 100 points of credit score is averaged to be, or estimated to be, $250,000 difference of how much money you will spend over your lifetime. It is exceptionally expensive to have a low credit score. It's exceptionally expensive to be a person of limited income in our country. You pay a lot more, your cash doesn't do much for you, and there are ways to end that. I'm not even going to say mitigate. If we had public dollars available to do simple little tweaks like that, we could be the guarantor there. I made all sorts of notes and I haven't said any of them. One quick little story about during the bank bailout. So there's been a national movement for quite some time in our country to start children's savings accounts. And these are custodial accounts. It's not like I opened a kid's account for my daughter, of course. But these are accounts that are a little more structured, a little more designed. That movement was going on well before our financial crisis. The people that work in the type of field that I work in, they were able to say, you know what? It would have cost our country less to not bail the banks out, but to open up a financial account for every child in our country. And what would that achieve? That would be keeping the money in the bank for over 18 years, which is supposedly what the bailout was all about, right? Getting that money in the banks and keeping it there. Well, we could have restructured. We could have opened an account for every child in America. New Mexico is at a fabulous point. We only have an approximate 28,000 births per year. We could seed an account for every child in our state every single year, $28,000. That money can sit in institutions, that money can grow, but it has to be seeded somehow. There's just a ton of possibilities that are available for community-based economic development. And I think the only place that I would keep us at the bottom is if we don't allow ourselves to get out of this mindset that we are at the bottom, because we are not. As a state, we're one of the strongest states out there. We have some of the strongest people out there. My organization statewide has seen some of the strongest success when families are able to have just a teensy bit of opportunity to do exactly what they know that they need to do for their own family. Thank you.